it wouldn't be on a third-party website or a third-party app or whatever.
I mean, like you said, I just need to generate as much revenue as possible so I can do the biggest videos possible. So I would, if YouTube, which I'm thinking about doing on YouTube because it'd be less friction than like driving people off the site and getting them to sign up, I would do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make too big of a difference to me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just trying to
give away
a bunch of money.
A large audience though, where you could have a, I guess, lower like conversion rate, but still have a very like wide and thorough like paying user base to some external site, because you won't be, I guess, limited by like YouTube's restrictions, and you can do more. Kind of like something like where Logan Paul is doing like his Maverick Club, where it's off site, so he has a lot more like freedom to do what he wants.
Yeah, we're exploring it all. We'll see what comes up. And also, Ian just came up. What's up, man?
What is happening? Let's go.
Do you use Clubhouse a lot?
So no, but I saw that you were here, so I was like, "Holy fuck! This is the only time I can be relevant in Clubhouse," and now I'm here. And the question that you and I were DMing about this, and I was actually thinking about it today. How do you think about creators? So if you're a creator right now, a lot of them are doing TikTok, podcasts, YouTube. They're on 5 or 6 different platforms, whereas you seem to be much more focused only on YouTube. And you had some thoughts about that I thought were really interesting. I think the room here might find it interesting too.
Oh boy, well, I don't remember what I said, but I don't think it's a good idea to be all in on one. I mean, you know what I mean? Like there are people that use TikTok that don't use YouTube, and that use Instagram and Twitter that don't use whatever, insert any platform there. So I mean, in a perfect world, obviously no one's perfect, and our times are linear constraint. You're using every platform and you're firing on all cylinders. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for me, yeah, I mean, 90% of my time does go towards YouTube, and that's just because obviously, I mean, I don't know. It's just what I grew up on. It's just what I love. And I don't know. I feel like I'm much better at making long form content and doing these big spectacles. And I've spent so many years hiring people, building up the infrastructure, and like studying and researching how to make a great video, that it's just kind of like, it'd be silly not to just quadruple down on the thing that I've invested my whole life into,
And then when you get brand deals, I think you approach brand deals a lot differently than other creators, where from afar, those brand deals seem to be, you use that money to fuel your production versus anything else. Whereas a lot of other creators, I think, use that money. They aren't going to pump that money right back into the video to do a spectacle.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just how people look at it, right? I mean, it's not like what I'm doing is that obscene. It's the same logic behind any company that's growing fast. You have a proven concept. You just take cash and light it on fire and grow as quick as possible. You know what I mean? But I think the difference is a lot of creators think they're, here today, gone tomorrow, and they don't have much faith in themselves. At least a lot of the ones that I ask why they don't reinvest. And so I think that right there is one of the hardest things. Is like, well, yeah, if you do think your career is only 2-3 years and then you're going to be irrelevant, then it would make sense to like stockpile money and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I just, we spend so much time on our videos. It's ridiculous. I probably spend more time brainstorming ideas than most people spend filming their videos. I mean, literally, we spend crazy amounts of time on ideation, months working on production for the videos. And some videos we film for 3 or 5 days straight, and then we, have hundreds of hours of footage that our editors work on for like a week. So as long as we're
no, that's an understatement.
Yeah,
Add
exactly.
months to that, man. Months.
Yeah. Well, and so as long as we're putting in my opinion, 10 times the effort, and we're spending 100 times the money, and we're being more original and creative, I don't think we're going to fall off. Like, why would people not watch it? And so I think that's why it's easier for me, because I'm not worried about falling off, just because I have confidence in the videos we make doing well. But yeah, I think for most creators, they just, they're just scared that they'd spend the money and then they're irrelevant tomorrow and now they're poor,
Hey, Jimmy, I actually had another question, and I've had like 3 to 4 meets like this, like they're all discussing it. I wanted to ask if you could like kind of give us an insight in how you orchestrated Mr.beast Burger.
Yeah. 1 second. Sorry, I was looking at the follow list on Clubhouse. Everyone listening, you should follow me just because I want to get the follower count up. Let's see if we can hit 10K before we finish talking. Yeah, so for Beast Burger, I mean, I won't go too in depth and bore people with the details, but yeah, you know, there's this company that partners with restaurants and does virtual dining, and yeah, we started talks with them, and you know, then we just kind of ran with the menu, ran with the locations. The one thing I really like about Beast Burger is we actually aren't using any ghost kitchens, so it's all like real restaurants, which is kind of cool. At least so far, and I'm gonna try to keep it that way because the restaurants we work with, you know, if you order a burger from one of these restaurants, like they get a good chunk of the revenue, and like there've been restaurants that now serve Beast Burger that like a month ago, like were about to have to close their doors, and they couldn't, you know, they just weren't getting much traffic, especially because of COVID. But now, like especially when we first and almost all the restaurants sold out, it brought in tons of revenue, and these people were going from like having to close the restaurants to like some of them are now hiring people just to keep up with the demand from, especially from some of the Beast Burger locations that are on fire. So yeah, no, it's been good, and I'm really happy. It's really cool just seeing all the restaurant owners like being super grateful for all the extra sales, and right now we're just trying to scale up because most of my audience just doesn't live near Beast Burger. We have 300 locations, or I mean, we have more than that now, but I mean, it still probably only reaches like less than 5% of my audience. So we're just trying to get up to 1,000 and 2,000 locations as quick as possible, and we had a lot of cool things in the works there. I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Also,
the
before,
Mr.
or go for it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say the Mr.beast location I went to also said that they've been having like nonstop orders like ever since it released. Literally, like the day you did the YouTube video, like I think 2 days later I tried it, and they were like, "Yeah, we've had nonstop orders."
Yeah, that's why I haven't been promoting it as much, to be honest, because just the restaurants are slammed, and we're trying to give them a chance to keep up and just kind of figure it out. We sold way more than even I thought we would at the start. And it was pretty big, and like I mean, there are people who are making videos reviewing Beast Burger that are getting millions of views, and it went viral on TikTok and everything. So like there were literally restaurants that like were having to just run to Food Line and buy supplies because like it just crushed their inventory. And they're, you know, and a lot of them were thinking like, oh, he's just a YouTuber, he can't possibly sell that many burgers. But yeah, no, it's we're kind of taking a step back and figuring out a lot of stuff and making sure we can handle it, and then trying to scale up the locations, and then yeah, we got some really big plans once we start pushing it again, and it's gonna be really fun to see what happens. Like if we can actually manage to get to a couple of thousand locations, and then do things like collab with other YouTubers to drop stuff on our menu, and just figure out ways to make it a spectacle too and on brand when you order and things like that. I think it'll be really fun. I'm excited to see what happens. It's like it's mind blowing to me just how many people are still ordering Beast Burger to this day. Like the sales are actually retaining pretty well.
How do you feel about like it's life changing, man? Like the work you do, like everything, like even just that startup, you know, how do you feel about that? Like you're creating jobs for people, you're creating opportunities, you're kind of in a sense saving a lot of people from the pandemic. Like how does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, obviously good. No one's gonna say it makes them feel bad, but that's not necessarily what I focus on. I just love what I do, and I just can't envision a world where I'm not making content, and this type of stuff is just a byproduct. But it's just, you know, when I'm helping people, I feel fulfilled, and when I'm not, I feel like a lazy piece of crap. So, but before anyone else jumps in, I just want to say hi to Daryl, give him a chance to say some stuff.
Yo, what's going on, man?
What's
it's like
up?
We never talk anymore.
I know. I called you like 2 hours ago.
I know.
So, what brings you on here? Someone told me you've been chatting on this app pretty frequently.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. It's like having conversations like we always have, you know, every day, which is cool because there's like so many new people coming on and just the wealth of information. You know, like I've been on stage with a few people that, you know, I've only connected with over the course of my career just a couple times, which has been awesome. So
yeah, I see Sean, Blake, and a few other people in the crowd. So it does seem interesting. Some big names use it. So what do you think would be fun for us to talk about for the next minute in front of everyone?
Like our obsession with data. I don't know.
I know, right?
Data is amazing.
It's
bias.
fun. I love it. I love the data, the data side. So, but you can't tip the hat. But I launched my channel today on that one that we talked about before, and it be performing, man, which I'm excited. So
okay. Well, I mean, I don't know how to respond to that without directly saying what it is.
Don't say anything. No,
I know.
just I think the cool thing about it, and this is something that I can attest to, is we always love to test data and do just experiments and see how things go. And then we learn from it and then try to apply it across the board. And like, do you even know how many channels you own?
Me?
Yeah.
I think we're on 8 or 9. I don't remember. I don't know. We're starting them up pretty frequently right now.
No, it's fun though, but it's just like it does translate across the board. And I think this is where most people have a sticking point, is they think, oh yeah, that works for him in that vertical, but it doesn't work over here. And at the end of the day, it's like, can you make something that's super enticing that people want to click? And then you're bringing so much value that they want to watch and get to the end and then watch more, And I think that's the key.
Well,
And
let me preface you saying that so it has more weight behind it. Let me throw the question back at you. How many channels do you have? Or how many do you have to have over 1 million subscribers?
A lot.
You don't want to say the number?
Yeah, it's 17.
Okay, exactly. Now, say that same thing again, and let's see how many people in the crowd actually listen to you.
Well, and you always say you got to flex. So I just barely put,
you don't have to flex, but like, if people know you have 17 channels with 1 million subscribers, they're gonna write down what you say like the freaking gospel, as opposed to just being another guy in Clubhouse.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I think the biggest thing, and this is like really going through generating 60 billion video views on YouTube, but it's about people, and it's about people's time, and it's about people like seeing other content that's out there. They need to be able to, when they come across your title and thumbnail in a feed, whether it's on homepage, subscription, or in suggestion, you got to grab their attention. You got to be able to grab it from the thumbnail first. That's the first place that they look. And then they're going to validate with that title. And if you can create curiosity, then that's going to earn the click. And then once they come on, you literally, and this is what you've mastered more than any other creator I've seen, you deliver on that promise of that title and thumbnail within the first few seconds. And then you take that first minute and really validate that, hey, this is the video that you came to watch. That's what you clicked on. And, bringing that value in and that entertainment value. And I know we've had a lot of discussion and push back and forth on, what stays in, what stays out, in a specific video. But what I love what you've done is you're really sensitive of, retaining that on brand and making sure that the content that you're providing isn't misleading, and it's like literally what the video is supposed to be about. And you've literally cut away, I thought, internet gold, but it's more about that retention, getting people to the end of the video, and providing that value where like, oh my gosh, that was an amazing video, and they want to watch another. And I think the biggest thing too, and this is where Mr.beast is the master at this. All of his videos are very easy to understand, and people want to click on it, and easy to share. And I don't mean by hitting the share button, but hey, did you see that Mr.beast video where he ate the world's largest pizza? Like, that was the title. I ate the world's largest, pizza. Yeah. It's like that. At the end of the day, is easy conversations that kids and people are having, creators are having, and people are having, and they're checking you out. And so a lot of people don't know this, but you get a lot of traffic of people searching you out to find that video, because they hear, oh, did you see where he put 1 million Christmas lights on a house and then gave it away? Guess what they're doing? Hey, who is this Mr.beast guy? Those conversations. So
I feel like you're my cheerleader. You're gassing me up.
Well, but it's true though. I mean, there's no other way that you're getting all these views, if you're not providing that value. And I do know that, and I'm going to confess something, because I know that you'll confess this, but I don't know, maybe on Clubhouse you might not, but like he'll like a video, he'll think it's amazing, and then he'll release it, and then he'll hate the video.
Yeah, there's always something that can be improved. Yeah,
that's right. And you're always looking to improve. So yeah, But like, I think that's where you kind of have this sixth sense that a lot of creators don't have, because you've really been in data from day one, trying to understand what's going on. You're trying to say, oh, what if I do this and that? And I think more creators need to get in the data so they can make data-driven decisions. But then those data-driven decisions will lead to this instinct. And we've talked about this before. You know, we know what's going to be a banger title and thumbnail. Like we've been doing this long enough, and we've seen enough data.
I was about to say, you get to the point where you just don't even need to look at it anymore. Like I just look at the retention graph. I'm like, yeah, it's relatively straight. Good enough.
Yeah, and then too, it's like, oh no, this is not banging. We're not getting the traffic in. You don't even need to look at the click through rate. We know it's a bad, thumbnail, and so we switch it out. I think that's the key. Is, I want a lot of content creators out there to realize there is a system, and the system is how humans are going to respond to your content, and is there a group of humans that have the same patterns of viewing on YouTube, and when that happens, the algorithm or the AI is going to do what it's intended to do, which is find people to watch your videos. And it's going to see that subset of patterns that you can't see. And it's going to go out and find people to do it. And that's how you've been able to generate. You have great spectacle videos that really engage viewers.
Yeah, but that's where part where we sometimes disagree. I think, like, when you think like the Would You Rather should have the same titles and stuff. And I'm like, nah, if it's interesting, clickable, it'll get promoted.
Hey, it's still performing. I don't care what you say. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm curious. Like I said, I'm new to Clubhouse, so I wonder if people like long rant style stuff like that, or if it's better. This is just data me coming out, or if it's better if it's more like back and forth stuff. Well, I mean, it looks like we held viewers or listeners pretty well while you were talking. I don't know. Sorry, just random tangent.
Hey, Mr. If you wanted to start having people come in and ask you questions, you could make me a mod, and whoever's raising their hand, I could let them in if you wanted to answer like random questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you think you can mod me as well? I can invite a few people.
I'm just gonna flip through. I'm trying to see if I know any. Is this my Ezra? Let's see. Oh yeah, it is Ezra. Ezra, come speak to us.
We also do have a question on Twitter as well.
Sure, hit me.
Yeah, sure. So Matt Mort asked, essentially, to get more insights on your brainstorming process. I know you mentioned earlier you spend more time brainstorming than filming. So
I wonder what percentage of the people listening are YouTubers, because I hate to bore people. But if you guys want to learn about how to come up with creative video ideas, you're in the right place. I've obsessed over this for like half a decade relentlessly. So when it comes to actually brainstorming, there are people who brainstorm different ways. But for me, I work really well off of inspiration, right? If you give me 100 random words, and like you say a word to me, give me 5 seconds to ponder that word and see what pops in my head, like that's the best method. So hypothetically, like the example I like to go to when I tell people how I brainstorm is like, for the longest time I would just like open up a dictionary and kind of just pick a random word, and then I just see what pops in my head. And the best example ever of it is I literally just opened the dictionary and I put my finger on the word prison. I was like, oh, I should just go spend 24 hours in prison. And then, the next week I spent 24 hours in prison for a video. And I think that got like 70 million views or something crazy like that. And that's an example of like, if I just sat there in a corner with no intake of stuff, that never would have popped in my head. So I like to just find systems of feeding a ton of inspiration into me, whether it be the dictionary, random word generators, or just games where I just have random things pop up, or software that we built. And then I just do that and just see what pops in my head until something's like clicks. And I'm like, oh, that's good, or whatever. So that's my personal favorite way of brainstorming. And it works well for me, but not everything works for everyone.
Can I ask a side question to that?
Mm-hmm.
So like what percentage of like the ideas you come up with do you think are good ideas? And then what percentage of that actually get like turned into videos?
Oh, I mean, 1% of the ideas. I mean, 1% of 1% of the ideas. We have, over 1,000 video ideas, and I'm probably only going to film like 100. Oh, well, I guess no. Well, we brainstorm tens of thousands, but then we finalize them down to like, we have a good list of like 1,000 I think are pretty good. But of those, then only probably like 100 are actually like mega bangers. And there's just, putting them on the calendar. Brainstorming. Let me put it this way, since we're talking about ideas, right? I will just say that right now, and you can quote me on it. I would rather make one video that gets 50 million views than 50 videos that get 1 million views, and you can apply that to anything. Or if you're a smaller creator, it'd be better to make one video that gets 50,000 views as opposed to 50 videos that get 1,000 views. It doesn't matter what level you are. It's just, the idea for the most part, right, does make the difference for between 1 million views to 10 million views, right, or whatever size you are, because just the more interesting a video is, and the clickbait and just the payoff and stuff like that, just the better the video will do exponentially. And like, you could put the same amount of effort into a video where you spent 24 hours in your backyard as you could hypothetically in a video where you spent 24 hours in prison. But the one where you spend 24 hours in prison is going to get 10, 20 times the views because it's just way more interesting. And kind of once you make that realization, it's kind of just like, why would I not spend more time brainstorming? I can put in the same effort but pull way more views because what I do is just inherently more interesting. So it'd just be better to, spend 3 times more time brainstorming and da-da-da, if that makes any sense.
Hey Jimmy, so this is going to be a little bit on topic, is that mental health. I really wanted to bring that up. Have you ever thought about taking breaks? Like, what's your thought about that? Like, have you ever felt burnout? Like, I'm sure a lot of YouTubers have felt that before. I wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm not a robot. I do feel burnout occasionally, especially after just relentlessly grinding for a month. I'm definitely not the best person to go to for advice like that. I just work from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, and I do that every single day to the point where I'm just like, feel like I'm about to go crazy. Then I take half a day off, and usually after like half a day, I'm like itching. I'm like, I got to go back to filming, and I crave filming. And I'm definitely not the role model for that. I basically live and breathe YouTube and fully obsess over it, and it's basically all I care about. So there's probably other people that could give advice on better work-life balance.
Do you ever dwell on the potential of Mr.beast being canceled?
I mean, not really. I just try to make the best content I can and just, have fun. Not really. Oh, sure, wait, real quick. Ezra just popped in. How's it going?
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Good. Have you ever talked on here?
No, I never have, actually. So good to meet all y'all.
Good. Well,
how you guys doing?
What's on your mind?
No, let's introduce him. He's like one of the smartest guys in history, Ezra. So
Thanks, Daryl. 30 minutes or less. Tell them why they should listen to
you. I've lived and breathed in for this room, I've lived and breathed in the sort of YouTube ecosystem for 12, basically my entire career. I started a company called Maker Studios in 2009, and then a company called Fullscreen. It was Maker's competitor in 2011, 12. And today I work at a company called Night Media. I work closely with Jimmy and Daryl on all things YouTube and all things related to Mr.beast's world.
Yeah, we have some pretty smart people in here. Kind of funny.
I just want to
go for it.
I just want to say, Ezra, I'm really big fans of the work you guys do at Night Media. Say hi to Pelosi for me. He's an old colleague of mine.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, he's an old friend of mine who I brought into Maker back in the early days. But yeah, it's always fun to listen to Jimmy talk YouTube, and Daryl too.
I mean, if you like YouTube, yes. If you're not head over heels, you're probably like, why the fuck is this guy so passionate about YouTube? But also, sidebar, if everyone listening could follow me, that'd be cool. Just trying to juice the numbers to boost my self-esteem. That'd be cool. When I started this, there's one person listening. And so it's kind of funny watching this room grow. So, I mean, it is interesting to see Clubhouse's algorithm at play, because there is actually a level of organic growth, probably better than Twitch's, to be honest, which is kind of funny for how new Clubhouse is.
Oh my God. Twitch is like search and like